with no defined enemy or borders,
Right.
and perpetual. We will go into, if passed, folks, a perpetual World War III with no borders, ignoring the sovereignty of other nations, and it boggles my mind. They're going to have to raise the ceiling.
Because it's a modern day witch hunt. Now, I wouldn't put my money in silver. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. I'd buy food. Why? Let's take a look at what's happening with the Mississippi River. How many millions of acres have been just totally flood ravaged by the Mississippi River? And what is it? You think the farmers are going to be able to plant in that land this year? Nope. Those crops are lost, and the next crops are lost. And we've got wildfires going on. We've got a lot of natural disasters going on that's making food prices spike, mainly because speculators are driving it up. But there is going to be a food shortage, if there isn't already. In many parts of the world, there already is. And that's one thing. If I'm going to put my money in anything, it's going to be food and things that you can use to barter with. Now, I'm not saying you can't go get a little bit of silver. That's all good. I'm just saying you better balance it out. Like John, for instance. I mean, you didn't put all your money in silver.
No, sir, I didn't. But I didn't start silver until I had enough food that I felt comfortable that if something did happen, I could sustain myself, my wife, and my children for at least 3 months.
Exactly right. So, by all means, folks, I mean, it's I guess, it's okay if you want to put some money in silver. That's great. But, I mean, focus on your survival type of resources, because as we go on here in the days and months ahead, it's going to get a lot worse. We're looking at what's his name, Ahmadinejad, is going to be the president of OPEC. Isn't that interesting? What an interesting turn of events. Now, you may ask, and I think I brought this up on last show, well, why are we not pumping our own oil? Well, the whole idea is, and I understand this, in a way it's strategic. Instead of pumping all our own oil, why don't we run the Middle East dry? And then, when oil prices spike to about, $300-400 a barrel, now all of a sudden, now we're pumping oil. Only the world has to buy it from us. Hey, problem solved. That's gone. We nationalize oil. That's it. We're good. Jawohl. So I mean, I understand the thought process behind it. I don't like it. I understand it, but really, the whole idea is you have to become more independent of that. And believe me, oil is not going to get any cheaper over time. I mean, you may see it retreat some, and then, for example, we're going to see it maybe go back, we'll just say like to $2.75. Let's say that happens. Go and gauge what people are saying when that happens. Oh, God, thank God, man, it's $2.75. Boy, that $4 a gallon, that was killing me. Oh, $2.75, we're saved. Oh, we're saved. That's what they're going to do. Because it is a conditioning tactic. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's what they're doing. John, there's going to be a time here where I'm sure we're going to see $6-7 a gallon.
Oh, yes. It's coming.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, I can't say it for a certainty, but I can take a look at the track records and trend over time, and I can tell you it's not going to go down to $1.35 a gallon anymore. Hell, I remember during the Clinton years when it was 79 cents. I remember going to the gas pump, and it was 79 cents.
I'm a dinner jacket takes over OPEC. You're going to see $5-6 a gallon gas. Now, Joe, every prediction that I've made, it came true, including the $50 silver. Now, you might argue that, no, we didn't quite hit 50. We got up to 49.85. You missed it by 15 cents. Tough luck, John. But you could also take the other hand and say, well, even today on eBay, you can go get physical silver on eBay and pay in excess of $50 a piece for most coins and or bars. So therefore, I did hit the nail on the head when it comes to the price of silver. But what I'm telling you is true. by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, I can visualize you sitting around the Thanksgiving table with very little to be thankful for. We're talking, if they raise the debt ceiling, hyperinflation.
Well, see, I'm a glass is half full kind of guy, John. I can always find something to be thankful for. But I will say that things are going to get very hairy. That is for sure. And all I can say is now is the time to get yourself and your family. If you haven't already started, you better get cracking. Get yourself and family prepared as best you can. You know, I don't know where silver's going. I don't know where gold's going. I know that I myself, personally, I read the scriptures, and in the end days, they're throwing the gold and silver out in the streets because it has no value. And remember, you can't eat it, you can't drink it, but there are some special metals out there, some very, very, very special, valuable metals like brass and lead that go a long way. And if you stock up on brass and lead and you have a craving to own some gold and silver, why, you can go take it with your brass and lead. So just remember that. That's right. You can always go acquire some if you need it when lawlessness ensues, if that's the case, because you will have law in your hands at that point. And that's that. Go ahead, John.
Speaking of which, you said you'll have the law in your hands. I watched a video day before yesterday of a young British woman who actually was attacked and had her head sawed off, and the guy ran away with her head in his hand and he decapitated her. It was disgusting, and I just sat there and I thought to myself, you know, if those people had a conceal and carry license, she'd probably be still alive.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you're right. But in Great Britain, John?
Yep.
Yeah, they don't do that. I mean, the cops don't even carry guns for the most part, unless they're called upon. They carry their the billy clubs, which is good. I mean, in that sense. But you know, I'll tell you this: I am a proponent of everybody should be armed. Absolutely, everybody should be armed. I agree. Hey, you know what? I mean, is there going to be casualties to it? Yeah. In the long run, though, it will definitely make people question doing naughty things to their neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, John. Hint, hint.
Oh, man. If there is a God, I'll watch on my security camera, and I'll have the pleasure to watch that SOB flop on the ground, grab his chest, and start rolling. If there is a God, I'll just have that. Just grant me that one final pleasure, Lord.
Now, as if the world wasn't already corrupt enough, I found this very interesting. This is BBC News Europe. German insurer Munich Re held orgy for salesmen. Munich Re is the world's biggest reinsurer. In other words, the company acts as an insurance company for other insurance companies. Huh? Go ahead, John.
The only question I have, Joe, is are they hiring?
Boo. Anyway, one of its divisions, Ergo, told the BBC that parties had taken place to reward salesmen in 2007. The gathering was held at thermal baths in the Hungarian capital of Budapest as a reward to particularly successful salesmen. John, did you need to throw that plate? Really? There were about 100 guests and 20 prostitutes were hired. A German business newspaper said the prostitutes had worn color-coded armbands designating their availability, and the women had their arms stamped after each service rendered. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, this is crazy. So, apparently insurance companies are rewarding their salesmen by buying them prostitutes and having their arms stamped after services rendered. I mean, this is where the world is coming to. And you have to wonder what in the heck is going on? And how can it continue to go on? It cannot, in my opinion, continue to go on much longer the way that things are going on. It just can't. It can't. So understand, folks, that we can make the decision. We can make the decision because God gave us all free will. We can make the decision to accept what's going on and live in ignorance, try to live in ignorance, go back to sleep, watch your Dancing with the Stars, do whatever you want, that's fine. Or you can make a difference. But in order to do that, it's going to require sacrifice. And I can't tell you what level of sacrifice it's going to take. I don't know. But I can tell you that our founding fathers in this country, in these United States, sacrificed everything. They put everything on the line to ensure that we would have a place to live in freedom and in liberty. And over the past 100 years, 150 years or so, the Constitution has been mitigated upon like you wouldn't believe. As a matter of fact, I think I saw Constitution toilet paper for sale on the internet. And isn't that poetic, really, if you think about it? It really is that, because that's the way they treat it. And the only way that we could take it back is by being proactive. That's it. You know, and I'm not saying march on Washington, let's go, because that's kind of, I mean, as much as you'd need about 300 million people or so to do that, that's fine. But what I'm saying is to be proactive in your communities and make people aware of what's going on. That's the best thing you could do, is start getting active. Now, our next show is on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't have a guest set up yet, but I will for sure. John, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yes, that's Sunday, 26 hours post-rapture for all those left behind.
But I'm pretty much done for the night. No, cutting it a bit short, but you know what? We can do that because we don't answer to sponsors or anybody else. We are who we are. So with that said, Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll see you then, folks. Good night.
Good night.